This is how I helped Ben go from making just $65 a month, only having views to rely on, to collecting 72,843 in just 10 months. I'm sure you know there's a lot of coaches, or you yourself even is a coach, that views is not something that you struggle with. It's the fact that you're not making a constant income to really go full-time with online fitness coaching. This problem is very common. They don't have a proper system in place. They don't know how to nurture people into paying clients. So this video is me mainly doing a deep dive into me and Ben's journey and also his funnel. And I want you to steal whatever lessons that I will share with you guys on any obstacles that we went through. Apply it to your own coaching business. Avoid the mistakes that we made. That is how I can help you guys understand your own bottlenecks, your own problems that you might be facing in your coaching business. And eventually you guys will reach a point where it's realistic and it makes sense to have someone come on board and give you more in-depth directions and also what you need to do and what are the needle-moving bottlenecks that you need to solve. Okay, so yeah, let's get into it. This Ben, he helps men get athletic with functionality and also a pain-free aesthetic physique. For the first phase, for phase 1, this is what I term as the front-end foundations. This is our first 4 months of working together, and we actually went from $0 to 27.6k cash collected in these 4 months. And at the end of each phase, I'll share with you guys the key levers to pull on and how you can apply it to your own coaching business too. So a little bit of backstory. I joined Ben on the 19th of November 2024. He was actually my first official client that I was able to play a major part in, and I was basically onboarded as his business partner. I made it very clear to him that I wanted to go through the trenches with him. Whatever problems, obstacles that we face along the way, we would just tackle it together as like business partners. So this played a huge part in my growth as someone that is able to scale fitness coaches online, just because Ben was actually totally new to the online coaching space, let alone in the fitness niche where it's a lot harder to make content that really converts. You are competing with a ton of other fitness coaches online. What this meant was I had to teach him from the ground up, and I myself had to do a lot of the heavy lifting, way more than I thought I needed to, right? So in a sense, it's also good, right? Because I get to learn so much. I get to be so hands-on in the business and be the one that is calling the shots in terms of where I want the business to go. Me and Ben, we talked about it at the very start, where I understand that he's a fitness coach, right? He's someone that wants to help people get into better shape, be healthier, be more functional in their training, right? That was his thing. And that's what I love about helping fitness coaches, is that you guys are here to help to change people's lives, like change the way they feel, the way they look at themselves, their physical shape, the energy that they can bring. And I love that about like fitness coaches, and it's a blessing for me, and I'm always so grateful to be able to work with Ben on this, because it's great to see someone be so good at like the fitness side of things. Like he's so knowledgeable, right? And at the same time, like in the business aspect, he's completely new, and that's where I came in. I felt like that was a perfect partnership because I had quite a lot of experience beforehand in the online coaching space, right? I had background in like copywriting. That's about it. Actually, no, that's about it, man. I only had like copywriting for a few months, and yeah, so I get to learn a lot here, and I'm someone that always learn along the way, and that's how I just build myself up and my own confidence in just helping other coaches online. So yeah, just to show you even simple things, I know what a VSL is, right? I have to talk to him about how someone were to ask for a price immediately in the DMs. He shouldn't just tell him the price, right? Because that's not the point of appointment setting. It's all about connecting with the person and then uncovering kind of the reason why, and to know and to gauge if they want it badly. So yeah, a lot of things I had to explain to him, but it's also good because it forces me to really understand what is the whole point of like different aspects of the business, like content, appointment setting, like the backend systems. There's so many aspects that I had to explain to Ben in a way where he understood, and that's a good thing because I forced myself to understand it too. Okay, even like simple things like a Stripe link for payment, even that, it was a little bit of a friction. Yeah, it was just a lot of interesting talking points throughout, to be fair. But again, he's great at what he does, which is helping people change their lives through fitness, right? That's his strong point. But when it comes to business, that's where I'm here to help him out and to give him direction, and also to lead the way majority of the times to make sure that this is a successful coaching business. Alright, so let's get straight into it, man. The second week of us actually working together, so from November 25th to November 30th, right, we cash collected 1,177. But the most important point here is that we actually closed our first high ticket client. I remember this gentleman so vividly. We closed Thomas for $800 a month for 3 months. I was on a call with Ben, we always take the sales calls together. As you can see the payment here on November 25th, right? Our dear Thomas for $800 a month, and one of the biggest turning points in the success of this coaching business. And before I get to that, I want to talk about how we set things up to the point where we're able to charge $800 a month and actually get a close into our offer. So what we did for the first week or so was we had to do an in-depth market research. And this is something that the majority of fitness coaches, when I talk to them, like, they don't understand their ICP. They haven't done a proper in-depth market research to know about their pain points, like what are the actual experiences, down to the details, right? Down to the little details and thoughts that they have themselves. Okay, like, it has to be very dialed in on the market research. So that's what we did. And within a week, we have a proper market research. We have an offer that we have created directly made and tailored based on the market research that we did. That's why it's so powerful. That is the foundation of everything else you do in your business. Your content is going to be so much better. Your offer itself is going to reflect a lot on your content, which in turns make it very congruent for your audience to know exactly what they are getting in the program and how we can help them. When there's so much certainty behind the way Ben reflects his content and his offer, it's a different ball game, and people just fall for us, not in that type of way, but people just fall for his personality, for the way he carries himself and the knowledge that he can bring about, and most importantly, the actual life-changing coaching that Ben can offer to someone else, right? So that's what we leveraged on, and we closed our dear Thomas for 2,400 revenue split over 3 months. And also, of course, we have some other payments here and there where we have a $500 split into 3 months. And funny thing was, Ben actually made a mistake here, right? Pitching this price, it was supposed to be $500 per month. That was the baseline for our high ticket price. So it's just a funny moment that I thought about. And also some low ticket programs that we closed in the DMs that we were experimenting with. And all of these big and small wins that we had is such a pivotal moment in terms of the trajectory of our business, is that it wasn't just the money that moved the needle for us, but it was the fact that Ben now saw for himself that charging higher is viable, right? And he actually believes in himself and his offer is worth charging that price. That was always one of the main problems when I talk to other fitness coaches, is that they don't believe deep down that their offer is worth charging higher, right? And there's this misconception or this common mistake where coaches just up their price because of what other online coaches says. It's not that simple, right? It's not just a jump in saying, oh, okay, I will just charge higher price. It's about the perceived value that you yourself see in your own offer, right? And how can we elevate that perceived value up so that not just you yourself believe in it, but also your audience, how do they perceive this new offer that you are selling? That's the main thing. It's not about, okay, I'm just gonna up my price because someone told me to charge $600 per month. It's about how can you elevate in every aspect. So meaning to say, how can you make your offer feel better, feel more premium, right? How can you get people more results? What guarantee can you put in place? What kind of content can you talk about that reflects the value of your offer, right? And there's so many other things that you can go to, but it's all about you taking the action to actually improve on your offer and your content, and that way you can actually charge higher price and feel good about it, right? And when you feel good about it, you have conviction behind your words on the sales calls. That's how people can feel the value of it and actually buy from you. So in our case, seeing is believing, and that gave us both the momentum and the self-belief that we can do this, right? We can charge higher price. And I feel like that's such an overlooked factor in any business at all. It's about the self-belief and the conviction behind the offer that you're selling. And for the next month of December 2024, we only cash collect 1,840, but this was the end of year to the new year period, the transition, and I knew we were gonna crush it next month. So yeah, immediately the next month afterwards, 2 months in of us working together, we hit a 10k revenue and we cash collected 5,025. So these are the numbers here. And that following month, another huge month for us. This was when we cash collected 9,385 and we hit a 17k revenue month. And this is something that I will talk about a little bit down the video on the revenue aspects of it, where we had so many new like high ticket one-on-one clients, but we were actually struggling to like pay for any of them. So most of them were just on a monthly payment plan, and that's why it's so important to actually have the client fulfillment dialed in, so that we make sure we collect the cash, every single month for however months that they agreed on. So it was still a big month for us regardless, right? We had 9k cash, which is, but at that time Ben was still working like a part-time job, waiting tables, serving tables. So I was just telling him, you don't need to do that anymore. Let's go all in on this. Let's really focus our efforts into making more content into this coaching business and really able to support your family and take care of them for the rest of your life. For Ben and me, okay, we're both a very family-oriented people, so it was great working with him because I can see that his relationship with his mom and his sister is great. He's always taking care of them. He's always doing things for them and making sure that he's just a great son and little brother in the family. It's something that I really align myself with too when I work with other people online. So this was a great month just because he was able to quit his part-time job and he can just fully commit and go all in on the business. And the next month, right, just 4 months in of us working together, we hit 10k cash collected and we had a 13.6k revenue month. Yeah, again, it was a huge month. Okay, seeing that number, it feels so good. Like that is the 5-figure mark for that month, and we did all of this in a matter of 4 months, right? The only problem here, the transition from like the month of Feb to March, we should have collected way more cash, like way more cash. But the issue here was that Ben's fulfillment, right, for his clients, the whole process, the onboarding process to the weekly play-by-play, it was just lacking extremely. It was just a Google document for the workout program, and he had some weekly check-in calls with them and also texts, but there was nothing concrete and there's just not enough touch points at all to make people stay for the subsequent months. So it was an even bigger problem when I really told him to utilize a training app like Trainerize, okay, to actually feel more connected with your clients and just have more touch points with them. No, not just training wise, like their diet, their mindset, they can do reflections on there, they can have habits for them to always hit every day. There's so many things that you can play around with, like a client fulfillment app for fitness. But yeah, for some reason, I don't know, for some reason he just didn't like to do that, and he felt like it was up to the client to hold themselves accountable in a sense, and whenever Ben texts them, they need to reply, and if they don't, that's on them. That was his thinking, that was his mindset, and it ended up being like one of our biggest mistakes and just biggest bottleneck in the business. This was a very early stage of our business, and we had so many other things that we needed to put our attention and focus on. So I ended up not really pushing him that much on this aspect, and then later you see what happens, like how much we kind of missed out on when it comes to the client fulfillment part. Alright, so to summarize on the first phase, right, this is like the front end foundations where the key levers you have to pull on, okay, is your market research. Your market research is so key because it in turns helps with your offer creation and helps with the messaging of your content, helps with the way you show up on your sales calls, and it just helps with it's the foundation of your business and you don't want to take it lightly, right? And offer creation, okay. And secondly is the DM setting process. I didn't talk about this below, but basically I was the one doing all the DM setting for Ben at that point of time, and it was just because that's something that I wanted to do also, and it actually felt very natural for me to be in the DMs. I actually didn't struggle with the connecting with the audience and kind of asking them like what their problems were and like what are their goals and whatnot. It wasn't the book calls that was the issue. For me, it was more of the structure. Keep in mind, the only background I have in the online space at that point of time is just copywriting. Like that's all I did for like 3-4 months, and it was a structure that was lacking. I remember I was in the DMs for maybe 2-3 hours a day. I didn't really track that rigidly, right? I only put those that are qualify, people that I've had a somewhat good conversation with, and just put them on a Google Doc and I just track them there. It honestly worked because these 2 months were me really dialing in on the appointment setting process for myself, and I was still putting in like honestly like maybe 3-4 hours a day, which now that I think about it, if I were to put more, right, I know I can even hit 20k for him, just because I'm so confident in my appointment setting skills because of the role models I have in my life, right? If you've seen the previous video, I talk about how it's a disservice for me not to post content because of the advice and kind of the knowledge, the wisdom that people around me, the mentors around me gave me. And I'm always, and again, I can't thank them enough for the way I carry myself, and in turn how I carry that into the DMs also. Okay, I'm a little bit yapping. I know I'm yapping right now, but yeah, back to what we were talking about, where that is the literal breach between the offer and the coach with the clients, right, with your audience, and you cannot half-ass it. Okay, it has to be dialed in. I'd suggest just DM setting yourself until you feel confident enough to train a setter, hire someone out, and then you can train them. That's what I did, and that's something that I'll talk more about later down the video. But DM setting is also really important. Oh, I keep pressing that. That's kind of pissing me off. I put a shortcut for the celebration as Ctrl+C. So I can't type a capital C now. Client onboarding process. Okay. Again, this is where it's so important for you to be able to fulfill for the clients and keep whatever cash that you guys agreed on. That's how you really build a great business. Okay, let me give you guys a perspective on what makes an elite service-based business, right? In our case, it's like coaching, but others fitness-wise. The first is your acquisition, right? The second is your upsell. The third is your retention. And lastly is your referral. When you're starting out or you're just stuck under even that 10k a month mark, you need to dial in on the first 3 aspects, right? That is your bread and butter, which is your acquisition, right? The way you do content, the way you bring clients into your offer, and how you're able to sell people into your coaching. Right. Secondly, the upsell. How do you want to sell high ticket? How do you charge higher prices? Like, how do you make your offer be seen as so valuable that people are willing to pay you thousands of dollars for it? And thirdly is the retention, man. If you don't have retention, you're doing so much work to get people into your business, right? And to charge them for high ticket, but you end up not retaining them because of your client fulfillment process. So you don't want to miss out, especially for fitness. This is one of the easiest levers you can pull on because it's just about getting people results. It's just having more touch points with your clients in whatever problems that they're facing, push them in the right direction and get them to go to the gym, get them to actually work out and do what they need to do. But I digress. The client onboarding process is really important. Yeah, I would say the first phase, this is the main levers that you want to focus on, and you'll set up a great foundation for your business, and you can comfortably start to transition into the next phase, which is more behind the scenes work. This is our month 5 to 8 where we cash collected from 27.6 to 50.4k, right? And this next phase here was mainly me hiring setters, right, managing and training them, and trying to delegate more of the work so that I can also focus my efforts into other areas of Ben's business, right? That didn't require me to be in the DMs for hours a day. So we managed to bought back a big part of our time, but it was a really rocky process, okay, since it really takes a lot of time to train setters up efficiently. And another problem I faced was I didn't realize there were so many setters that just have no clue how to have normal conversations with the audience and with our leads. And it was really a shame because to me it felt so natural, right? I was able to give them mindset advice. I was able to give them motivation when needed and really point them in the right direction and call them out when they are giving me bullshit and they are not taking it seriously. I was able to do all of that. But when it comes to the setters that I sourced out, okay, I didn't know how to source, so it was a really bad qualifying process on my end. But because of this transition, we had to deal with the lower months. I really blame it largely on me not knowing how to lead at that time and how to qualify and source out the right setters. But it's way different now. I'm glad I went through that process of being shitty at this, right? And we were in the trenches, man. We were genuinely in the trenches trying to figure things out, and there were so many unexpected moving parts. So on April, we did 5,450. This was when the setters are actually in the DMs already, and I'm there trying to guide them, trying to make sure that they know how to actually DM people and have conversations. A big problem here was like they couldn't have quality conversations with people, and it ended up being so inefficient that even if they're putting in like 5-6 hours per day consistently, they would still not get enough booked leads for us to make an impact, to make a significant impact. And the quality of people that they do book, they are 8 out of 10 times just trash. Like they are not there to be serious, and they're just booking in for the sake of booking it, right? And it was difficult for me because I wanted to focus more on like the back-end automations for band. So I had to juggle between so much of my mental bandwidth and my time. And keep in mind, I was still in the army at the time, so I had like 9 to 5 working hours. It's really hard for me to juggle between all of this stuff. Yeah, so it ended up getting way less cash collected than we wanted to, but the next month it got a little bit better. They are more consistent and they are putting in better conversations with people. So naturally we made a little bit more, so we made 8k that month. We thought it was going well because they are actually improving, and I'm having one-on-one calls with them, teaching them, and they look like they actually enjoy the one-on-one calls with me where I guide them, and I can point out on so many different aspects of like where I see them doing it wrongly, what can be improved, and how do they want to approach this DM and this talking to people in general, right? June came, we were still maintaining the momentum that we had, but we just couldn't get the breakthrough, right? It was just however many hours they put in, it directly correlates to the results that we get, right? We didn't have much leverage because their conversations weren't of quality. And that's why now when I talk to setters, okay, I always tell them upfront that my job here as either as like someone's business partner or like a setter manager is I want to make sure that they can have quality, know how to have quality conversations with people, and to understand the fact that appointment setting is all about talking to people, forming a connection with them, and then guiding them down a path of whether they need help from us or not, maintaining the momentum. But keep in mind, there was also a lot of moving parts where some setters not really happy with the sales calls, for example, right? How a lot of no-shows, a lot of people not showing up. Yeah, there was a lot of problems, to be fair, which largely in part is because of a weak system. We didn't have a proper structure in place for them, and yeah, it was quite messy at the time again. And I'll stop at this point first, right, and talk more about what were the other behind the scenes work that we actually wanted to work on, right? First of all is the content. We knew a big part of the setters' feedback to us was that people were just no-showing. People that book a call, they don't really look that qualified and they're not really that serious. And yeah, we understood that problem came from content being not as dialed in. The messaging can be a lot better, and we just needed to speak to our ICP a lot more directly. So what we did for content wise was we understood that we still needed the top of funnel content, right? So we'll still make content that gets quite a lot of views, it has a wide audience appeal, and it just gets eyeballs into our page. So what we did was, first of all, focusing on the top of funnel content. Keep in mind, when Ben first started out doing content, he was just showing his physique and having some anime music in the background. So obviously it got him a shit ton of eyeballs from people that just are there for the motivation, right? They're the brain rot monkeys, the dopamine monkeys is what I call them. So obviously that wouldn't attract the type of people that we want on our page and be able to sell them into coaching. We understood like we still needed top of funnel content, but it has to be shifted towards our ICP, which is helping more adults get into athletic training and just be more functional and be more athletic too. So yeah, that's what we did. We dial in on the messaging to make sure even if it's a top of funnel content, it's still regarding our ICP and it's still in the realms of getting most eyeballs from the people that we actually want on our page. And secondly, the middle of funnel content, where it's more of the mindset shifts that you can provide for people. It's more on the specific topics that our ICP deals with. For example, you want to fix your joints, you want to bulletproof it, train for functionality because of the back pain that you get from work. You want to be able to have fun with your kids, be able to carry with them and actually play with them. And it comes down to you being functional, right? Being able to move in all planes of motion well. So that was more like the middle of funnel content, where it's more specific problems that they face that is done through short form, right? And then lastly is the bottom of funnel, which we actually didn't focus on it too much. Should have focused a lot more on, and this mostly is from like long form YouTube videos. For Ben, it was a whole other story that I can go into, but like he was in the transition of moving out and he wanted to make more valuable long form content when he moves out, which obviously isn't a great way of thinking, but at that time there were a lot of things that we had to focus on, we had to work on, so I didn't feel like it was a big issue just because there were other stuff that we can spend our time and effort on. And secondly, the other aspect that we wanted to work on was a proper backend system, right? For our case, it's a VSL and an email challenge to nurture people. So yeah, this really took a while. I'm gonna be honest, right? It takes a lot of time learning about Go high level. It's quite a steep learning curve, but all of these things that you see here, the landing page, the copy itself, they're all done by me. It was a tedious process, but it's not quote unquote like hard to learn, but you just have to go watch some videos and take it step by step. So I would suggest, if you want to learn Go high level or like a website builder, just do it step by step. It's really not as hard as you think, right? Just watch some videos if you get stuck somewhere. But if you need help with doing all of this, I have a Calendly link below, right, for you to book in a call, for me to help kind of figure out what you need help with, and if I can even help you at all. Just book a link down below with me. But yeah, so we have a Go high level as our CRM, just to make sure automations are being done, the website is there, right? And the reason why we chose this route, okay, is because we wanted to feel and look more professional to our audience. And keep in mind, there's so many successful fitness offers out there that don't have a landing page or like a website. You don't need that. Okay, I would recommend most fitness offers not to even have that, because what you're selling is more like your personal brand already. You're selling the mindset, okay, you're selling your habits that you show up with, through your content. That's what you're selling to people, right? And the physique, of course. So when it comes to our case, is because we want to target more sophisticated people, so we wanted to have the website there to give off that vibes and that look. So yeah, again, we have a CRM that we do a lot of our backend stuff on, and yeah, even the email challenge that we have is a very simple 5-day athletic integration challenge where we just get people to try out like athletic training. It's a free challenge. We get an email, get a contact number, and we can just nurture them with a shit ton of emails at the back end. We started off with like a very simple 7-day challenge, but I think now we have around probably like upwards of 30 plus emails just firing off, making sure that they are nurtured always. And we can always add more into it, and that's the great part about email marketing and email nurturing, is forever we'll have their contact info and we can always nurture them till they eventually buy into our coaching. This was something that took us a lot of time. Okay, it took me a lot of time specifically because I had to learn and actually apply or whatever I've learned into a website, and then the copy has to be good too, and this is just straight up annoying to set up. But now that I have gotten a lot better, okay, it's just really simple now. It really comes down to just doing it step by step for me. So yeah. Thirdly is our sales process. For example, having more CTAs on the stories. This is like a 6-part. This is actually a 6-part story that you can check out on this page, and I made it, and it's really good at converting people and just make it very clear like who we help and how do we help them. We also like client wins. You want to utilize a lot of your client wins and showcase it to the audience to create either FOMO, to create like motivation, to whatever, like have them see themselves in their shoes, right? So even again, this phase was hiring setters, so we wanted to make sure it's dialed in. We are getting consistent touch points with our audience and just having quality conversations with them. So eventually, they book a call, and when they book a call, that's where me and Ben will hop on a call with them and just ask them about their problems, and eventually, sell them into coaching. We actually had 43 like boot calls in less than a month from this period of time. But this was the main levers that we wanted to work on in our business. And back to that, man. So all of that was happening, the first 3 months period. But that was when the one of the main problems happened, where on July, the next month, we only cash collected $3,000. There was just a lot of setter issues in our business. And the main things were, we had setters leaving, after a few days in. The downtime to find and qualify new setters took too long. And that was my mistake. I didn't have like backup people, or like people that already qualified myself in my back pocket whenever I need to replace setters. So it took very long for the downtime. During that period of time, I was also busy, so I couldn't be in the DMs often. And Ben just doesn't DM. He gave that role to me to settle, so that's on me to hire people and actually place them in the offer. Right. Thirdly is expectations, and also the training process was just not firm enough. How I operate is I'm just a very laid back kind of person, and that worked for me when I was in the DMs, okay, because it didn't put a lot of unnecessary pressure on me, right, and I was still able to have quality conversations, right. I was enjoying talking to people, and that was the main thing that I can attribute to in my success as a setter for Ben. I continued with that framework and that mindset that, you know, you can be a laid back person and just just go at your own pace, okay, when it comes to DM setting, because the main thing here is having quality conversations. As long as you can have that, you'll do well, and I'm an example of that. Right, that was what I led with most of the time with my guys, but I understand now that not everyone, okay, and I would say a majority of people are not even like me in the way they DM, because they are very script by script basis, they are very robotic when they talk, and they don't see the underlying reasons behind a lot of the smoke screen that your audience gives you, okay, and that's my job to kind of teach them. And in order for them to really learn and constantly apply whatever they have learned from me into their DMs, it requires a shit ton of time and effort, okay, it requires a lot of reps in, and that was something that I was preventing them. I was holding them back and not giving them like that permission to go all in, which is something that I know now. And I thought a lot about like the work-life balance, but in a case for a lot of setters, okay, that's their livelihood. Like setting can be their livelihood, and by me not giving them permission or like encouraging them to have work-life balance, I hold them back into giving like 120% of the effort into appointment setting, into spending 12 hours a day if they need to get us the results that we want in our business, okay. And if we get results, they get more money, that's their livelihood, they're able to, you know, provide for their family, provide for themselves. I had to have that understanding, but I didn't at that point, because I was at a privileged position where this was not my this was not my livelihood. Like, it didn't depend on this. But yeah, now that I see it, you know, it's always about asking the people that I work with, you know, what exactly is their goals, like what is their situation, and then from there we can always come up with a game plan for them that is aligned to their goals and what they want to achieve in life. So the whole process, the whole month was just a mess, okay, but I understand it's just part of business, and I learned real quick the big and small intricacies when it comes to, no, not just the hiring process, the training, the managing, and just everything as a whole. I would say if you're a coach making at least 30k a month now, and you feel like your business just has so many moving parts, especially in the sales process, definitely get a good sales manager. These people will be such a benefit to your business and free up a lot of mental bandwidth, like for you to focus your efforts on other bottlenecks in your business. Props to them, man. This is not an easy role, and I understand the people to people skills is something that is very important, okay, super important, like hiring A+ players and all that. So again, I want to talk about the key levers you can pull on, and what we pull on to get us to 50.4k cash collector is the backend system, first of all, right, to nurture your leads. So in our case, this is more of the VSL, you know, the email challenge, even like a proper post booking process after they book a call. You know, what are the things that you're sending them, what are the testimonials that you're sending them. All of those things matters, because it's very important for you to have touch points with them from when they book a call until the time where they have to get on the call. Secondly, man, hiring sellers, well, it's a really important process for you to nail down, because like again, A+ setters on your team will really make or break your business. I want to emphasize again, they are the bridge between, you know, your offer, and the clients and the audience that you deal with. Okay, having A+ setters would just mean that you have infinite touch points with people, and just being able to nurture them, talk to them, spark conversations with them, and getting them to book in a call with you, right? It's so important. It's not a process that you want to half-ass or just not take seriously. The post-booking process, so you can increase the show up and close rate for people. And lastly, right, is okay, enough of that stuff. Content messaging, right? This is just to make sure that the ICP that you're attracting are actually your ICP, and those are people that you will want to work with. and that resonates with your message. A bit of a long video, but so yeah, the next phase, right, phase 3 was the hiring process. This is where we really dial in on the hires and make sure that we are getting people and team players on our offer. Okay, people that we want to work long term with and that we can see ourselves benefiting from each other's skill sets. So very simple, we started seriously tracking and also having better team management. So that means more convo reviews with people, tracking our leads, actually tracking them one by one, the inbounds, the notes, wherever they are from, we want to track that. Obviously the payments itself, we want to track that too. We have team calls with people, right? That's me, some of my guys here, right? Having team calls. And another thing that we did during this phase was we started on YouTube long form, right? This is the bottom of funnel content, where it's also another big portion of nurturing people and making sure that they see you enough times and they are warm enough to you as a coach so that they are comfortable to get on a call with you and see how you can help them out with coaching. Alright, or in the best case scenario, they already know what you offer, they know how you can help them exactly. They just wanna finalize the payment issues and just throw money at you because you're able to change their lives and you show it through your content consistently. So yeah, so for this month, right, we bounced back. The previous month we had 3K, but this month we had good hires, we had people that are super hardworking, and we also had proper incentive structure, and obviously the team management, team culture were there. And yeah, we immediately hit over 10k month with a clutch payment at the end. We bounced back on the month of August, and yeah, again, the right incentives, proper tracking structure for the setters. And on September we hit another 10k month. But again, if you realize here, the revenue on the previous month is really high, but the cash collected the following month isn't. So that is a big problem again, and it comes down to the client fulfillment process. I think this was the month where I had enough. I just told Ben, this is clearly not working, you're not retaining any of your clients at all, and it's been a big problem to our business and the amount of cash that we should have collected. And yeah, so to summarize the results, alright, the fruits of our labor for this gruesome but fun 10 months. In total, I've helped Ben go from a pretty complete beginner in the online space. He was making close to zero, okay, basically $0 to 72,843 cash collected in 10 months of us working together. And I want to emphasize on this part, if we were counting revenue wise, okay, we should have collected 105k if our client fulfillment was actually dialed in from the get-go. You have to understand, it's not hard to dial in on client fulfillment, right? It really does wonders to your business, because it's not just the retention of your clients and getting cash collected in, but it's the fact that there's so much more bullets that you can use on your Instagram stories to convert people. You build so much more trust, you build so much more FOMO with your audience, and you can even get referrals from people that you have really helped out with, right? There's just so many benefits of having a great client fulfillment system and actually getting them the results that you promised, right? It is a service-based business after all. Coaching is service-based. You have to understand your business starts only after they pay you, right? That's how you want to think about things, because that is hands down the most important aspect that you can work on in your business. So that's also why, okay, I'm so adamant on only working with coaches that genuinely have a good fulfillment system to help their clients. Okay, they have to go above and beyond for their clients, because that is how I myself operate too with the people I work with. That's just how I do things, and that's what I realize is the way I want to do business with people. Okay, business for me, business is really about solving people's problems and also having fun at the same time, right? Having fun, the fun can be tedious, it can be hard work, it can be a lot of frustrating nights, but that's what makes entrepreneurship such a great process and such a great journey to be on. And I myself, I'm glad I'm able to do this and I can actually get results for people, right? I started with a lot of imposter syndrome, before working with Ben, but through this whole experience, this whole 10 months, I feel like I'm just so much more confident, okay, in helping fitness coaches online scale their business and really be able to align with their own values and morals and just achieve the goals that they want in life. All right, and keep in mind, for Ben, okay, he had almost close to zero experience with the online coaching space, right? Simple things like the VSL, not pitching your price in the DM straight away. And if you're a fitness coach yourself watching this and you have had some experience beforehand already, and you take whatever lessons that I've shared with you guys here and apply it to your own coaching business, the whole process, okay, would have been much faster for you. You have made a lot less mistakes and you would just be collecting way more cash into your business. To kind of sum it up, obviously this whole process, this journey with Ben came with a lot of ups and downs, and again a lot of late night frustrations and just many head scratches from me, okay, wondering what is going on, like how are they like this, okay. But again, all the way through, I had a blast just solving bottlenecks, okay, learning so much and experiencing just the deepest of trenches with Ben. To be able to come out here and say like confidently that I can actually help other fitness coaches in the online space now. And if I were to summarize what I have done for Ben already, is that I've been able to give him so much free time on his hands to actually live his life during this period because of the systems and the team that I've put in place for him and the way we run things. Right, it's very clear on what we need to do on a week by week structure. The team is also self-running, we have people in place to get the gear moving and just make this an actual coaching business that all Ben has to do is just focus on making content and just doing client fulfillment. Right, that's really the goal for any fitness coaching business. So yeah, again, this phase where we went with 72.8k cash collected, again, the key levers that we put on is, firstly, you need to learn how to hire A+ players. This is without a doubt one of the most significant phase of your business. Okay, if you're able to just get that, the few fellas that just would absolutely die for you, okay, in terms of like putting in the work and getting the business going, you're gonna be set, man. Like, you wanna treasure those people and really treat them really well and give them the praise that they deserve. And yeah, secondly, you need to have a better sales structure. So that comes from having team meetings every week, for example, making sure that you guys are communicating within the business on what's the bottleneck, what's really going on, what feedback is the audience giving you, so that you can take that and just improve on your content and just make content that speaks more directly to your ICP. And the sales structure also means, having proper incentives for your guys, having proper milestones within the month so that they are excited to hit it and they get rewarded because of those said milestones. It's just a fun process, honestly. You can play around, ask them what kind of challenge they want, how do you want to make friendly competition between the setters, or how do you want to challenge them. Honestly, this is a fun part, okay. It's just you need to communicate, okay. Just communicate with your guys and don't be stingy, okay. I would say don't be stingy when you come across people that just are great A+ players. Yeah, treat them well and they'll treat you well tenfold, okay. So yeah, that's what I talked about. It's gonna go up again, team culture. Another thing that we started on is like long form content, and yeah, immediately the first week of us posting our long form video, we had 2 clients actually booking a call with us and close. So this is a game changer, man. Like, you need to focus on the long form content because this is what gets people nurtured and warm before the call. There are so many use cases for long form too, right? You can use it as your post booking process. You can use it in the DMs itself, whatever it is, right? You have to leverage long form content. Yeah, and that's something that I've been really focusing my own efforts into learning and just perfecting, okay, as much as possible the way we want to do long form content for fitness coaches. And now comes the next phase, which is the scaling phase, right? So this is the month 10 onwards, which is where we are currently at. We have already added 18.2k revenue to our business within 2 weeks, just with a few tweaks. Okay, that kind of rhymed, but yeah, just within 2 weeks where we had 18.2k rev. And yeah, what we did to scale, okay, is really simple. Okay, it's actually really simple. And first of all, it comes from us having a revamped downsell structure. Secondly, to top off the A+ players, okay, we hired an A+ sales team. Okay, we directly just got the whole sales team in, right? They already have good chemistry between each other. They kind of know their things. They have a system going on that they are used to. So yeah, we straight away just hire a A+ sales team. And this is actually a very interesting video for me to talk about too, because you guys would 100% really know who this person is that the sales team helped with before. He loves to dump his face in ice cold water. That's all I'm gonna say, but I'll make it my next future video. So yeah, we got the whole sales team onto our offer. As you can see here, man, like it's really a game changer, okay, once you have things sold out in. For high ticket, it's still rather similar, where our base price is around like 400 to 600 a month. And the reason why there's this range of price is because like they are just really dedicated individuals, and it would make a great testimonial in itself for them to get coaching from. In client fulfillment, that's something that we are starting to really dial in on, and I made sure it's the whole onboarding process is good for these people. And yeah, that will bring us results back tenfold in the future with so many good testimonials. And obviously we still have like really high ticket offers that we charge. So we have 1,250 for split over 4 months, but this is for like a year package, so it's gonna be 5,000 revenue just like that. And I would want to say this is a main part of like having a good sales team and a good offer structure, where this is all done in the DMs. These are all closed in the DMs, right? And we have $700 days, we have $800 days, just because of the sheer amount of effort that the setters put in, the sales team puts in. If we combine the high ticket calls, high ticket book calls that we get, along with the downsell that the setters closes in the DMs, we are gonna go crazy, man. Like I'll go crazy. Like I'll actually go crazy. But yeah, so this is doing well. They're really putting in the work and showing why they are an A+ sales team. Another thing I can talk about is really just dialing on the long form content plus the general messaging that we are going towards. Okay, this is where we want to double down on our long form content, make sure those are engaging and also just like valuable to people, so that they want to book in a call with us and they want to get coaching from Ben. So yeah, this is something that I'll probably update you guys down the road, but that's pretty much the whole process of my journey with Ben. Like this whole 10 months process, it was great. And yeah, just keep in mind, if you're interested in me, coming onto your business and kind of giving you directions, helping you with certain areas of your business, definitely book in a call with me below. I would love to talk to you guys, and my mission here is to genuinely give you guys so much sauce and give you guys a direction for your own coaching business, so that you guys can change more lives, you can impact more lives, okay? Because fitness has always been the foundation, the rock solid foundation that I can lean on. And it's been such a life-changing moment for me, ever since I really got into fitness. And yeah, I would love to have more coaches out there that wants to help other guys, lock in their fitness and adopt the habits, the right habits, the good mindset. Just seeing them, Ben's clients, okay, just feeling so much more energetic, being so much more confident in their own body, their own physique, the way people treat them, the way they look at themselves. Everything falls into place once you are able to be happy about the body that you're in, okay? You're in your body 24/7, okay? Your body is always doing something, and it's a shame that we are not giving it our all in our fitness and kind of extracting the benefits from it. So that's a big reason why I specifically want to help fitness coaches, because that's my passion. And I would love to see what problems you guys are facing and just be able to help you guys out. But yeah, that's about it from me. Any questions, just leave it down in the comments so that I know how to better help you guys. And I'm still super new to this whole YouTube thing and content in general, but I would love to be a big part of changing the online coaching space. Peace.